Word spiral. As soon as we talked about ASMR,
we're not.
Memo has been self-destructing.
Yeah, I know. I feel like we're just concerned about like.
No, I'm not so much concerned.
But you guys are leading me into the direction of understanding the weird downfall
Of how
my
you're
psyche.
acting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's some true friendship. So welcome to Anything for the Podcast. My name is Memo.
I'm Willie.
I am Chris.
And today we are joined by one of my oldest friends from high school, my really close dear friend of mine, the lovely Alicia Lopez. Hi, Alicia.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Dude.
Yeah, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell them a little bit about you.
What do you guys want me to say?
It's what you want to say. Well, Alicia and I went to high school together. I knew her when she was a freshman.
Yes, I was 14.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
That's not a
Memo.
good opening to a story at
I
all.
mean, it's just to show how long I've been friends with him. So.
And how old were you, Memo?
14.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. No, we're good.
It sounded
We're
like
good.
14 was like a very pivotal point.
Yeah.
in the
Guys,
story.
if I met her,
Memo was a senior.
if I
He was
met-
18.
Oh,
she was
gross.
14.
No.
That's where
I was a sophomore. She was a freshman.
Okay. Cool.
She was friends with my sister.
She was a skater fool.
She was a skater foo. She said,
See you later, fool.
But yeah, and then we just kept in touch. Even though she stopped going to our same high school for a little bit. We still kept in touch after that.
Yes.
And then yeah. So
Yeah.
So what do you do?
yeah. What do you do?
What do I do? Well, I'm a mom. So first and foremost.
First and foremost, okay.
First and foremost, I'm a mom. I have two girls.
Okay.
Aaliyah, she's 8, and then Ariel, she's 5.
And are they listening to this podcast?
Oh no,
No?
they can't.
pray to God they don't listen to this podcast one day.
No, we have censorship filters on their stuff. So.
Nice. Nice. But yeah, dude. So what? Damn, I don't know. I just lost my train of thought right now. Damn.
So you go to UCLA?
You go to UCLA.
I do go to UCLA.
Nice. What are you studying out
Yeah.
there?
So right now, I just declared a double major. So I'm
Hey.
a sociology and Chican-X Central American Studies major, and I'm studying pre-law.
Okay.
So that's where we're going right now.
You said Chican-X.
Yes.
That's the American
Is-
Chicano.
Is that? No, but okay, I've never heard it before. That's why I like.
So Chican-X, what that is you can say Chicano for yourself because
Right.
you identify as a man.
Okay.
I can say Chicana, but then the umbrella term for anybody who may be gender binary or gender fluid, we would use the term Chican-X.
Okay.
So that's just an overall umbrella term to
Uh-huh.
coin basically gender fluidity
Okay.
between like men, women, or people who don't identify as either.
And is that a label accepted by the the college will refer to it as that, or is that something kind of just more of the student body trying to get that to become the norm?
So essentially, the department it still goes by Chicano Studies.
Okay, right.
They put Chicano/A originally like a few
yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, I remember they were doing that at CSUN too.
Yeah, so now the departments and everything are pushing like, and a lot of my emails, if you like email faculty or things like that, it's Chican-X just to conjoin, just like I said, an umbrella term in
Okay,
order to
yeah.
like not miss anybody.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay.
It's not really pushed by students, but it's more so like a societal thing at this
Right.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
think it's more like an American thing as well. Like in Central America, Mexico, they. So Joto, what?
Yeah,
So-
no,
so
that's
yeah.
that's what I was trying. Yeah, I wanted to get to that too. Good. Yeah. Is that do you know if it's being accepted outside of the United States? Because I've only heard it in the United States.
Yeah. So we would say that although the United States is lacking in many ways,
Right.
inclusion or society is trying to be inclusive. A lot of people of society are trying to be inclusive in the United States.
Yeah.
And we're so like, if you look at Central America or Latin America or other countries, we know that machismo, misogyny, all of those things like masochism that exists in those places where
Right.
they're not so accepting of, gay people or things like that. So they don't want to accept these terms where you're accepting a gay person or a person who doesn't identify as man or woman or trans or things like this. So that's why you don't see it in these states, and there's a lot of pushback as well.
Yeah, you said that the U.S. is like really lacking. I kind of think we're one of the leaders, and like we're like leading the front for that, though.
I would say, I think, I mean, it can be very subjective, though. It depends what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So there's certain things, like certain aspects of the United States where we are making progression, but there's other ways that we are lacking in comparison to other countries. For instance, like, let's say maternity leave or paternity leave. Like, we're supposed to be the leader of all countries.
Are we supposed to?
Well, it's what we identify as, the United States, the government.
Yeah, I think what she's trying to say is the matter is that America likes to swing our big dick around, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think the thing is, you look at places like Italy, you look at places like Germany. When you are pregnant, I think it's like probably on your 8th month.
You can get up to a year in some places.
Paid time off. And then even after that, in Italy, after your maternity leave, you get, I think, a year and a half of like growing time to spend with the child.
And not just moms. I want to also put that. This is also paternal.
But I think, also just to kind of pull back on it too, we could say like we're lacking, but that's every country.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you can always say we're lacking on anything. It's never gonna end.
Yeah,
right?
no one's perfect. Everyone, and that's the thing. If you believe in God or not, we were given free will.
Yeah.
Everyone has that free will, and it always touches back to like people want to compare.
Yeah.
And I never liked the whole comparison thing, because at the end of the day, all first world countries have their own issues.
Yeah.
Look at the UE, the EU. Yeah, sorry, EU.
Ew.
EU and the UK.
EU.
Like I remember I met this dude. His name's Edward. He listened to the
Snowden?
podcast.
Shout out Edward,
He
dude.
listened to the podcast Edward. I met him at a bar, and he was explaining to me the separation of the UK.
I remember that.
Yeah,
You were telling me
he was
about
telling me, he's like, the thing is like the reason we formed the EU is because people who were making all the money and paying the taxes for the universal healthcare, we were the ones getting seen last by doctors. We were the one getting the least care. So we wanted to change the system. And when it wasn't changed the way we wanted it to be changed, and when you really look at their plan, it wasn't that far off
Right.
from what they already had going on, but that's why they separated. But the thing is, when that happens here, what did we have? We had a civil war.
God damn. Yeah, you're right.
It's just America is too big of a fucking place, dude. And everyone who I meet who's not from America, they always tell me that shit. America's too big of a fucking place. That's why we're having a problem with coronavirus. That's why we're having a problem with injustice, with racial, gender, everything like that.
Dude,
because it's too big of a fucking place.
So then, with that in mind, do we need more government control or less government control?
I feel like we need less government control.
The
I feel like we need less governors.
Yeah.
The big problem with this is that I believe, like what Willie said, that he doesn't like to compare countries or things like that. And I absolutely agree. Like, we can't compare because at the end of the day, every place has its own problems. But it's also, as American citizens, it's important to be critical. Like, it's important to be critical of like the state of your country or the things that are happening, the injustice and all of those things.
Yeah.
It's like not necessarily, it's like expecting perfection, but there's room there's so much room for improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially because of the way that our country is built, like we strive, or the goal is to strive for freedom or things like that. But freedom is not afforded by all, as we know. So I lost my train of thought.
I feel like I get what you're saying. I feel like freedom is more of an idea.
It is.
It's not something that is practiced on a daily basis.
Exactly.
And the thing is, when you go back and forth to the idea of like, I'm sorry, I don't.
Who is free? Like, like it's at this point we could say racial. And there's another component to it though, which we see now. It's a socioeconomic factor.
Who's Rachel? We
know that there is a racial component to your socioeconomic stability or your financial wealth. There's all of these factors that factor into your, like, let's say stability or success or freedom, as one would say. The people who have more financial wealth, the people who are maybe of a different demographic, depending on who you are, that earns you or affords you more freedom than others. So, like you said, people don't practice freedom anymore. It's just there's certain people who are allowed to practice freedom and, like, let's say exercise amendments and exercise their constitutional rights. Whereas there's other people who are unable to, or they're deemed like they shouldn't be able to. Like, let's say, I believe it's the 14th Amendment, which is birthright citizenship. Like, it's something that's come into question. It's like, if you were born here, but your mom was an immigrant, like, are you really a citizen? Like,
the anchor baby
when you say
argument.
that's been coming into question, like, who, and is that like a majority, or has it been like three people
let's
on
say the
Twitter?
No,
Because that's a lot of things, like, like these crazy ideas, like taking down Abraham Lincoln statues and all this stuff. Like, that's probably like 10 people on Twitter, and then people all realize that, like, that's crazy, and so they retweet it, and now it's just
didn't the Trump administration actually, like, they are trying to question birthright citizenship?
But that's the thing too, guys.
Yeah.
Every other Republican fucking chair has questioned the same subject.
Of course.
Yeah, I think what it is with this is Chris is right. You know, we're in an age right now where technology is such a big factor in our daily lives, and social media is such a big daily factor in our lives. When somebody says something you slightly agree with, it becomes legend. It becomes
it's a lot
gospel.
easier. It's a lot easier for it. Yeah, it's a lot easier for it to become a catalyst for something bigger. It's going to snowball into something bigger.
And this isn't undermining the fact that this has existed before this administration.
Oh yeah,
it's like totally not.
No, dude.
But it's something that's come into question, and it's something that, like, we see now. It's like, yes, like I say, that's factoring in, but it's factoring in because now we see it. Now it's relevant.
Yeah.
Now it's being widespread to these people who may be extremists, who push these ideas. We see hate crimes on the rise. Like, also, I mean, internet is instrumental to seeing these things. Like, it's a question of, was this stuff here before? You know? But I mean, there's statistics that show that since this administration has come into power, like, I mean, internet has been around for a while. So there's statistics that show that there has been, like, a really big uproar in hate crimes, especially against immigrants or people who are of minority, like, who appear to be minorities.
No, I don't think anyone's denying that. I think what the main factor is that when you have somebody put in power that speaks the way he speaks, versus
literally uses Twitter himself.
And then the internet.
Yeah,
the internet
dude.
is
The internet,
that comes back to Chris's argument.
Yes.
The fact that this president uses Twitter the way he does, of course you're going to have these people out there who have felt a certain way that they needed to hide their values and they needed to hide the way they felt about certain situations, feel like they could do it now.
I felt like what Chris was just saying was 10, like, because what this goes back to episode 1 about Mount Rushmore. It's 10 people on Twitter, not a whole, you know, and not even 10 significant people either. Like, everyone's voice and everyone's opinion is valid and it deserves to be respected, but who are they? Sometimes it's like, who are they to tell you this? But when you get a lot of just like-minded individuals that didn't either have the balls or the guts or even the brains to put it together right away, and then someone else says it for them, they're like, yeah, you know, like, let's fucking do it.
I mean, yeah, because you're gonna see it always, like, oh, they want to they want to do this into the Constitution, or they want to tear down this, they want to put up this. Like, who is they? Like, what is this really, like, a big factor like that everyone's, like, worried about? Or is it just another thing to put fear into your mind to get you riled up? And is this just something to occupy yourself and to, like, shout on Twitter? Like who really is trying to push this agenda?
Yeah, and it's so crazy because a lot of this fear mongering that's happening now, it's always been around, but it's always been someone on a soapbox. That's it. But now everyone's soapbox is Twitter. And that's more widespread.
Yeah,
and that's
when the person standing on the soapbox is your president.
Oh, dude, it's fucking scary.
And it's working. Yeah. Unfortunately, you know, it's working. Like, dude, if you see anything, like, even if you watch TV, like, let's say you just watch TV and you don't watch, like, you don't keep up with the internet or Twitter. Like, we see, like, you can go to, like, corners in California now where there's Trump rallies or, like, and these people, like, screaming at you.
Oh, dude,
like,
going down Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah.
Dude.
And it's not, and there also has to be, like, for me, for instance, like, I don't necessarily identify as Democrat because at the end of the day, there's things that I don't agree with. Like
after these past elections,
Yeah.
it's really hard to stand as a Democrat.
It's very difficult.
Yeah,
Like
as a true Democrat.
But it's like also like there has to be some level of respect for the opposition. Like there's certain things like, you know, that you have to listen to, like, but then there's a thin line. Like there becomes a thin line where it's like, okay, like you have the freedom of speech, but it's like now you're hate, like you're inciting hate, you're inciting violence and things of that sort. And it's becoming really dangerous. And it's not just on the right side, it's also on the left side, one would say.
Yeah.
I keep on losing my train of thought.
No.
I keep on wanting to say something.
No, dude. No, but it's valid.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
And a lot of people, again, I guess I'm doing it with people, but it feels like if you don't agree with what I am saying, then we have to like silence you. Like we have to take down your platform.
That's the
you don't have the right to say how you feel or your counterpoint either.
Yeah.
I feel like
Because that happened with like Alex Jones. It's
Well, Alex Jones got a piece of
people are
shit,
trying to
bro.
take down Ben Shapiro. And
But
stuff
isn't
like
it kind of scary how sometimes Alex Jones is like really close to the truth? And you're like,
he's been saying Epstein
dude.
Island for years.
Yeah.
You're like,
and
Alex-
everyone's just like, nah.
Alex
so
Jones.
scary.
Alex Jones was the one back in 08
Dave Frost.
who said that there was a fucking island
Yeah.
Yeah.
where they would take kids and they would fucking rape them and they would molest them and no one
would give
fucking
him the time
listened
of
to
day.
him. But no, Chris, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's the problem with this.
But so there's some stuff that where he said was completely
But the
off with
frogs
Sandy
are gay and
Hook
shit.
and all that stuff. You
Oh,
know, they're actors and stuff. But does that make him? Does that allow us to take away his voice?
And it's back to that cancel
Like,
culture
and how is
bullshit,
that
dude.
any different from the crackhead on the corner who's talking to himself, talking about
Yeah.
aliens?
Oh,
and,
hell
you
yeah,
know,
dude.
So the problem is that the crackhead on the corner doesn't have access to the wide platform that Alex Jones has access to.
But they both have access to freedom of speech.
They do have
yeah.
access to
I
freedom
could
of
argue
speech.
that one, though, but
But
continue.
the problem is it's access to freedom of speech. But for instance, you're bringing up Epstein Island. It's been a known fact that Epstein Island has been around. You know, he was tried as a sex offender.
Yeah.
You know, he had gone to court. So it's a known fact that this person was a vile human being and that he got away with a lot due to the people that he was involved with.
Right.
So it wasn't new information either that he was, you know, conjuring up. It's just the fact that this person kind of skid away.
Yeah.
And he got away with his first case.
Yeah.
However he did, with
Yeah.
whomever he did or whoever allowed him to. And then it blew up again recently before he committed suicide.
It was all
and
blackmail, really.
Yeah.
They say that he had a painting of Clinton in a dress in his living room. So every time Clinton would come over, Epstein would be like, just letting you know what I have on you. So like
Dude.
for how long has, you know, the American government, well, I guess not even American government, the world, you know,
It's the
world
elite.
policies
It's the
have
elite.
Dude.
have been playing in favor of whoever has been in charge of Epstein, you know, because
Yeah.
Epstein's just a hand. He's not the man behind it all.
Of course not.
Not at all.
So the world has been operating under this umbrella or this, I don't want to say organization, this secret society or what. That's not what I'm trying to say, but like,
That's exactly what it is.
yeah.
That's exactly
So,
what it
so
is.
someone has been moving these parts, blackmailing, saying, no, I want you
Yeah.
to do this. I want this to go over here and stuff like that. So
it's really crazy because it's because the media likes to over romanticize this kind of stuff to make it look like it's more fictional. Like it sounds like it's from a fucking movie.
yeah.
Like it
Dude,
sounds like it's
that was one of my tweets.
Yeah,
Like,
this- fuck.
Epstein and Ghislaine
Yeah.
shit. Like this is a crazy fucking thriller of a movie. I wonder
Yeah.
how it's gonna happen.
Well, yeah,
how
it's that
gonna
thing.
end.
2020 is a
It's
fucking movie.
fucked up.
Any
Dude.
updates on Ghislaine?
No,
Dude.
last I heard, they're moving her from cell to cell. She had COVID at one point, but then nothing ever followed up with that. That's why I don't pay attention to anything like that
the
right now
assassin
because
virus, dude.
there's new news every day. But here's my thing: there's only so many ways people can feel about that situation. Right?
Okay.
Until you have kids.
Until you have
course.
kids, dude.
So
that's
when you,
fucked.
I'm assuming you watched that 6-part documentary. I did too. It's fucking riveting.
It's
So like with 2 girls at home, like what is like in your mind? You're just like fuck.
so it's
Goes back to the school.
it's really hard, and it's not just as a mother, it's also as a survivor. Like it's like
damn.
Memo knows this.
Yeah.
I was sexually abused as a child. like at age 4. I was 4 years old. So it's like, this is nothing new. And this isn't just a female problem either. This isn't a woman problem. This is a man problem as well. A child problem primarily. So for me, it's really hard to see. I'm trying to like kind of form a cohesive thought, because at the end of the day, it's really hard for me to say these things.
Right. No, of course.
So I was 4, and even though it was my older half brother, and then later on, it was my babysitter's husband, who was my friend's grandpa. And you know, it's the realization as you get older too. Like when I was in high school, or as the older I got, the more women I met that I knew, literally maybe out of all of the women that I know, 2 or 3 did not get sexually abused.
Jeez.
So it's just, and as a child.
Oh.
So it's really hard. And then as a mom too, I go to therapy and stuff because I wasn't able to deal with my trauma as a child or as a teen, because it was my parents never wanted me to seek help because of the fact that it involved family.
It's like a taboo
It's
subject.
hard, dude.
It's really hard.
They didn't want to address it.
Strict.
Yeah, and it's very
If you
unfortunate.
ignore it, it'll eventually.
Yeah, and I became very suicidal in like high school. Memo saw how thin I had gotten.
Dude, yeah.
I was literally, I had no will to live. And it's something unfortunate because so many people go through it. And then as a mom, I'm in therapy right now, but I deal with a lot of severe anxiety in terms of my daughters because I'm so worried that somebody is gonna do something to them.
Like who do you leave your kids with?
I don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Like I don't even trust my parents. I don't trust and it's so sad to say I don't trust their dads. Like to a certain extent, I'm just like, I feel like I have to have them at home all the time.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
And do you feel like in the long run that's like a psychosis thought, just like deep down, like it's just something you have to work through eventually?
Oh, that's what I'm doing therapy for. I have to work through it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, there's only so much that I'm in control of.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like I'm doing my best to create a safe environment and create socially conscious and aware children.
Right.
To the fact that these are things that exist. But to kind of reiterate, so the big uproar with, we see like the whole Epstein and the children and things like that.
Yeah.
It's very upsetting for me because I feel like people are abusing and misusing this platform of child abuse or like the whole Epstein thing to push a political agenda at this point. Like,
okay, explain.
Yeah. That's an interesting take on it.
So the save your children hashtag.
Oh yeah.
So if we look into that, this is just sensationalized recently. Like, you know, child abuse has been around for as long as the earth has been around. You know, like,
dude. The Greeks, bro.
So the fact that it's being sensationalized right now, out of nowhere, it's kind of like this has existed, you know? Like there has always been, you know, child trafficking awareness posters. I know In-N-Out is a big proponent on like child trafficking awareness. And it's been for years. Like if I recall going in when I was in high school and there's posters all around. So it's like, we know that child abuse is happening, but then all of a sudden it's become like this political ploy. Like we see that there's these like conspiracy theorists and people of that sort using the hashtag to bring awareness to the situation. And then what they're also doing is they're spreading images, like they're spreading like to like for shock value factor and things like that.
Yeah, it's inappropriate.
It's very inappropriate, and as a survivor, it's like a slap to the face. It's like all of a sudden you're worried. Yeah. Like all of a sudden it's a problem.
So you feel like it's more of like a trend than
it's been politicized.
Yeah,
it's been absolutely politicized.
God.
And it's a bunch of like I hate bringing it to that point, but it's what it's become. It's become a politicized conspiracy theory, and it's a fear-mongering tactic as well.
Yeah.
And it's just there's so many components to it, and it's like I get the sentiment for some people like to bring awareness to it, but then like this whole movement as of right now.
Yeah.
It wasn't birthed off of good intentions. You know, it's like it just wasn't like.
Damn.
I at least from what I've seen, and as a survivor, this is how I feel.
It's like an exploitation of
exploitation. They're exploiting.
They're exploiting
the
exploitation.
Exploited.
Yeah.
Like they're exploiting it's a pawn, and it's not to say that there's no other political groups or things that don't also exploit certain things. But
every fucking everything, every movement there is,
of course. But this, for me, it's just like, it just hit really raw because these are children, and it's kind of like, it's like, how dare you? You know, it's like, for what reason? What is your gain? You know, it's like trying to demonize. Like, I see a lot of things in regards to Bill Clinton, like in the Epstein stuff, and it's like, of course, Bill Clinton. We all knew he was a piece of shit. But it's like, you know what? It's not like Jeffrey Epstein didn't have his island thing right next to Trump's, you know? It's like, it's not like he wasn't like, it's like literally it's there. Yeah. You know, he was photographed with him. Yeah. So it's like, and it's not just them, it's celebrities. It's all of these people from across the board. Like, so it's not just a single party issue. No. It's like, it's a societal issue at this point.
With Weinstein.
Yes.
Everyone had photos with fucking
Oprah.
Weinstein.
Oh, dude.
All of a sudden.
Dude, they joked about it at the Oscars.
Yeah, dude.
They joked about before Gervais, before Weinstein went to jail, they joked about it. Like they would fucking joke about it on stage.
Who's the girl that emotionally killed Cobain?
Courtney
Love. So during one of the interviews, like during on the red carpet, she was like, one of the reporters like, do you have any advice for young girls, you know, trying to make it into Hollywood? And she said, if Harvey Weinstein ever calls you into his private,
don't go.
You know, room, like hotel and stuff, like run.
Yeah, dude.
And like no one did anything about that. No one questioned it.
It's known. Jesus. It's just hidden truths.
And this wraps up back around to the fact, like, what is freedom and who is practicing freedom? It's like, it's all socioeconomic. It's all elitism. It's like all these things. And it's like only these people, like it's, let's leave the political, like the politics out of it, but it's like the people who can afford it. It's people of a higher socioeconomic status, people who have access to this because of their wealth, their money, like, and it's this power.
But you don't feel like that argument as well opens doors for people to feel sorry for themselves?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, so it all comes down to that, right? But my thing is when you look at it a certain way, because there are some people who could have this conversation and not understand that this is one of the play factors in why a lot of things are the way they are. But there are some people who use that entire platform of argument to excuse their actions and like why the world is why their life is the way it is.
How? Like,
give an example.
Like people feeling sorry for themselves because they can't do anything because they feel like they don't have the money to do it or they don't have the wealth.
Okay, so
all right.
This gets also a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
There's also like there are people who are privileged to this access. Yeah. Like for instance, like academically, let's say there's a lot of underrepresented communities in academia. For instance, Black people, Hispanic people. No, I'm going to say Latino people, Latinx people, Asian people also to a certain extent. Yeah. Many other like Middle Eastern, all these.
Everyone but white.
Everyone but white.
Everyone but white. Yeah.
And the
there's
thing
also
is,
like rural white people. Like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay.
Like,
you're fine.
Theo Vaughn, the comedian, he was saying that like he grew up in rural Louisiana, and it wasn't like a racial thing, where it was just a poor thing. Like
that's like, a socioeconomic.
Yeah. So like it wasn't like the poor blacks. It was like, no, everyone was poor. Like, like race didn't matter. Like everyone was just neglected.
So in sociology class, this past spring semester, before I left to UCLA, I did a research project. And the research project was surrounded around statistics in regards to who's privileged and who is not. And in some of those statistics, I wish I could find the demographics and stuff. It actually showed that white poor people from rural areas had more access to employment opportunities, like even if they had criminal records, in comparison to a regular Black man who had no criminal record. So at the end of the day, there are certain things that do set you up and afford you privilege in society. But to wrap back around to academia, so there is also privilege there. For instance, I'm going to use an example. For me as a low-income student, and for me as a Latina,
Yeah.
and a single mother of two. I qualified for this group called AAP. And what AAP is in UCLA, it's called the Advanced Academic Program. This is a specific program for minority students at the campus at UCLA.
Uh-huh.
So I had a recent interaction that kind of left me with a really bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
I had 2 counseling appointments. They were terrible. Like, the advice that they were giving me, it was very discouraging. They were just like, I wanted a double major, so I was trying to declare my second major. And I was explaining that to my counselor, and they kept telling me and discouraging me from doing it. They're like, it's going to take you too much time. Like, you have already too much on your hands. Basically, like, you shouldn't do it. You should do this instead. So I kind of sat with it for a little, like a few days, and I wasn't really content with the help that she gave me.
Yeah.
So I ended up reaching out to one of my, what they're called a peer learning facilitator. And it's like a mentor that you get when you're at UCLA. And she's like, are you in honors? And I was like, no, I'm not. She's like, well, what's your GPA? And I told her my GPA is 3.8. She's like, okay, let me see what I can do. So later on, I received an email, and she was able to like connect me to the honors counselor on campus. And I went to the meeting, and completely different. He basically like structured a whole path for me. He told me exactly what I needed to do, the exact classes that I needed. He told me I could totally double major, that he was going to help me figure out if some of the classes overlapped so I didn't have to take as many as were needed. I had to take the LSATs to go to law school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A few other things, research programs, because I'm also applying for research programs. He literally narrowed it down to this. So this is a prime example to also access to privilege. So I, as an AAP student and a minority student, I was kind of filtered into this program that wasn't giving me the same resources nor access to this higher level of counseling.
Yeah.
Like it's just a sense of discouragement. And it makes you think about, well, the honors counselors, who has access to them? It's like, who's the demographic that has access to them at UCLA primarily? And then who has access to AAP? Minority students only. So it's like it wraps back around to this concept of people feeling sorry for themselves. It's like, for me, I feel like I'm in this position of privilege, but because I'm in this position of privilege, I can't pass judgment because I know what it's like to be in a position where I didn't have this community nor resource nor privilege.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't understand. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. Like, it's so hard to explain.
No, I get 100% what you're saying. I understand. And no, you hit the button you hit it on the head.
But yeah.
But yeah, dude. Oh my God.
Not everybody has this access. Is what I'm trying to say.
It's really tough to break through and get.
And it's a cycle.
Help.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how I made it to university. I really don't. Like, I'm this person who I'm a child of immigrants. Right?
Yeah.
I was a teen mom.
Yeah.
I was a high school dropout. I was suicidal. I'm a sexual abuse survivor.
Yeah.
Like, it's all of these things that factor into like my life. And it's like, I don't know how I did it. But then again, it's like, just because I did it doesn't mean that everybody else has the same access that I do.
Right.
Like,
yeah. I mean, you can only, it kind of sucks because you can work so fucking hard for something. And like you and someone, let's say you had a race, you were racing them to get to this point.
yeah.
But like you said, like there's certain doors that open for you, but might not open for someone else.
Yes.
And that goes hand in hand with anyone. But what you were trying to say kind of more at the beginning was, even though, someone was starting at the same place, two people start at the same place, because of one tiny insignificant factor, they could get further than someone else.
Had I not connected with my PLF, or had I not had her as a PLF, then I would have been stuck with the AAP counseling at UCLA. I would have not had the access to the honors counselor.
It's just so funny because but that's just, a lot of people also chalk that up to that's just kind of how life works. And it's a fucked up thing to like it's almost a defeatist way to look at things.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That's just
like,
how life works. someone has this opportunity because that was their whatever predetermined path for them, God, universe, whatever, or what they worked up to, that was going to open up for them. Like it kind of goes back to like everything happens for a fucking reason.
And I feel like it's a cop out.
But also we can see factors like in other people's situations, like when the number of cases where it does look really fishy and unfair, that's why we have to speak up. That's why people speak up, because there's more situations where it's just like, hey, this doesn't make any sense. Like, it really doesn't make any sense, because everyone knows life isn't always going to work out the way you want it to.
Of course.
But if you put in enough work and effort, you'll get to where you need to be, and you'll be able to work around it. But having that weird defeatist attitude is not going to get you anywhere either.
It's not necessarily this defeatist attitude, though. Like, so I read this book over the summer. It's called Fruteros by Doctora Rocio Rosales. And it's basically, she did research. And she did research on a specific community. And by the title of the name, like Fruteros, like, for fruit vendors.
Yeah, fruit vendors.
So fruit vendors on the street. And she interviewed about 7. Okay. And it's all, let's say, it's all like they're aliases. They use aliases, and it's not
their real names.
It's not their real names. And so there we see kind of like a pathway. There's these 2 families that supposedly own majority of the fruit vendors, like the fruit vending carts that we see on the streets. In the book, they call them the Garcia family and the Mendez family.
Those are their aliases.
Those are their aliases.
Okay. Real quick, what area are we talking about
LA.
with these fruit? Oh, Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Okay, all right.
And we're talking about an immigrant community who's coming in.
Right.
But it's very interesting because to get into the fruit vending business, you have to have a connection.
Right.
And sometimes you don't even have to have the connection, but the stronger your connection is to them, the more opportunity you have. So there's this man named Manuel, and then there's another man named Christian. And Christian, he comes and he's rather successful with them because one of them is his cousin.
Okay.
So he's very successful with them, and as one could be as successful as a fruit vendor in LA.
Right. Yeah.
So he has the proper connections and the proper channels to get to where he needs to be. And he gets treated well. He's able to go independent. He buys his own pickup truck and he buys his own fruit cart. So he doesn't have to work for anybody at the end.
Okay.
His cousins kind of pushed him to do that. That's Christian. Whereas Manuel came and his connection was just a friend of theirs.
Right.
Manuel did not have the same luck. The Garcia brothers wouldn't pay him. They would go without paying him. And they would still charge him monthly to use the cart.
Okay.
They would still take like all these things. Eventually he kept on asking for the money, and they're like, oh, well, you owe us rent and you owe us food, so you still owe us money too. But it's like, you haven't paid me. So it's
like how am I going to pay you when my job is from what you did? Okay. Yeah.
So it's basically like a shit situation.
Yeah.
It was, and he was trying to make the best of this situation.
Right.
And he kept working for them, and he ended up leaving. And he decided one day he didn't want to work with them, and he was going to go independent. And he bought like a cheap little fruit cart, like the cheapest one that he could find. And he got blacklisted by the community, so they wouldn't let him stand in certain corners anymore, things like that.
What, they threatened him with violence?
Not with violence necessarily, but they blacklisted him. Like, and because of his little cart, his cart wasn't like, it's not the ones that are permitted. So it didn't pass like inspections or things like that for like hygiene or the Department of Health. Yeah. Like, so he would often get cited and do all of these things. And he was still trying to make the best of the situation. But because of his connections and because of this bad coin that he was given, or this bad card, like, it's like, he wasn't feeling sorry for himself. But we see throughout the book that because of this lack of connection or lack of resource, he just couldn't amount to anything. He could not overcome.
He couldn't succeed.
He could not succeed, and he could not overcome. So it's like, he wasn't there sitting defeated, but he was defeated. Yeah. So it's like this defeatist mentality. It's like, is it really a defeatist mentality?
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Like, I don't know.
No, I get it, because
it's all subjective.
Subjective.
Either way, don't go to those fruit carts. My dad was an inspector for Southern California of Edison, and he had to inspect one of those houses. There was fruit carts in the backyard all covered in flies. And before he used to go to all those fruit carts and shit, like he didn't give a fuck. But now after that, he's like, no, don't ever go there. Don't do that shit. I'm like, Jesus, all right. I'm gonna get the shits after that.
I think
dude.
what it comes down to, especially with those families that you're talking about, it's the idea and the practice of capitalism in America.
Yeah, it's exploitation, and it's like it's their own wanting to succeed in America, like the American dream, and they're exploiting their own people. It's what we call, and what she coined, the ethnic cage.
Dude,
So it's called the ethnic cage. This is where we go to people of like kin for societal support or community.
Yeah.
But then we have this hint of exploitation.
Crabs in a bucket.
Yeah.
Crabs in a bucket.
So it's very difficult. But this is also, it's like it can be applied to many other like standards, like academia, for instance. It's like here we're all trying to fight for like better professors, better counselors, and things like that. But who has that access? You know, it is like if you don't have access to proper counseling, then you're not going to get access to, like, you're not going to get that knowledge of what classes you should be taking, what classes are recommended, who's going to give you those better letters of recommendation. Yeah. So it's not this whole like feeling sorry for myself. It's just like, shit, why do I keep on getting this bad card? Like,
well, do you network like with your peers around school? Because when I was in school, like that's one thing that I was in a business fraternity. It's not a date rape fraternity, but more like,
just to clarify.
Let me just clarify that real quick.
I want everyone to know that's listening right now.
It was a co-ed, so it was guys and girls, and instead of like partying, we do like marketing competitions and stuff.
What fraternity?
Or it was a Pi. I don't think they want to be associated. No,
I'll tell you off air.
It was Pi Sigma Epsilon, but
I thought you were gonna say off
and
air.
so like one of the like we always do have like an alumni night every quarter and stuff. And so one of the questions is like, oh, what did you like about being in part of this organization? And I was like, it was really good. Like you were able to like have your peers like tell you like, oh, which professor to take, which ones not to take. I have the PDFs for this book, so like don't even like spend 80 whatever.
Where did you go to school?
Cal Poly, Pomona.
So I had considered going to a CSU specifically for the fact of like the competitiveness of the UCs. So there's this sense of competitiveness between also every one of your academic peers. Right. It's just that it's very elitist too. Like this concept of competitiveness within higher academics. Like it's like this sense of like I want to be above you. So it's like I'm not going to give you that leeway. Like, but what you're saying is like if we have like some type of mentorship or things like that, it's like I've found more mentorship among my older peers, like people who've already graduated, and for instance, but like amongst each other, it's really difficult to actually find like information of substance because everybody is fighting for those spaces. Okay, it's literally like crabs in a bucket.
Yeah.
So in your group of your what is it again?
My cohort.
Yeah. What type of people?
My cohort,
Asians.
No. My cohort consists of primarily Latino, Latinx, and Black people. Yeah. And it's very uplifting. I'm very fortunate. I am very incredibly fortunate. I come very well connected from my community college, and I made a lot of connections at UCLA prior to transferring. Mm-hmm. So I'm very fortunate, privileged, and blessed in that way. So I do have more access to resources than some students might have. Like, we all try to help each other out, and we all try to lean on each other.
Oh, so you do have those resources.
I do. Yeah. And so I'm in a privileged position because I have that access, but not everybody does. Uh-huh. It's like there has to also be this acknowledgement that not everybody has the same access to the resources I have. Right. And a lot of times there'll be students asking me questions, my peers as well, and they didn't even know about the stuff that I'm telling them, and I'll have to help them. It's like also like a spread of this wealth of knowledge. You have to spread it as well to help your other peers. The problem is that these resources should be made available by the people offering the resources, for instance, the counseling centers or the transfer centers or things like that. And often this information isn't getting passed down. It's like maybe it's a selective process who they decide to tell and who they decide not to tell. Like, it's like, why isn't this information readily available to everybody, and why doesn't everybody know about it? Mm-hmm. So it comes to question the why. Like, there's this misunderstanding as to why they don't know about it.
Okay. Yeah. So Okay. It seems like so what you're saying is that the administration just doesn't tell you everything right away, right?
Not necessarily,
Okay.
no. It's like this, somebody's gatekeeping. It's kind of it's kind of what it feels like. It's
And
like
like other students like already have that.
there's some students who have that and some students who don't. Like
Right.
so it's like, is it gatekeeping? Like it's like I don't want to necessarily be cynical, but it's like it's what it seems like.
It's kind of fucked up. Like I have kind of a story kind of like this when I went to CSUN. I already told this at least like 3 times on here, but like how I switched from biology to film and television. I remember when I was in the biology program, the counselors there were just kind of like, they were over it. Like they fucking hated being there.
STEM counselors are like,
Dude, it is. And when I would like ask them a question, they just seemed so annoyed by my question. And I was like,
They've heard it 1,000 times.
yeah, yeah, but it's just like, okay,
check the website.
Yeah.
I haven't asked
Check
you
your
1,000
syllabus.
times. Yeah, no, but a counselor, not a professor. But I remember it was great because it was almost like the nail in the coffin when I decided to switch from biology to film and television. I started the paperwork to change my major, but I had to get a hold taken off my registration because I was still in biology. But that means I had to have I had to be advised. I had to go to a fucking meeting with a counselor. So I go and I'm waiting there for like an hour because everyone's there. It's because it's towards the end of the semester, and I was like, okay,
Everyone's there.
everyone's fucking there, and I'm there. And then, I put my name on. They're like, all right, Guillermo, and I go up. They're like, what do you want? And I was like, what? Like, yeah, what do you want? What do you need? Like, not
Why are you here?
Why are you here? And I go up to. I was like, oh, I need you guys to sign this so I can switch major. So like, fine. And then like they sign it and they just like throw the paper back at me. All right, here you go. And I was like,
no advising whatsoever.
I was
Nothing.
like,
We can't keep you here.
we can't keep
Is
you
there anything
here.
we can do?
No, but and then I was like, all right, cool, peace out. I don't need you fuckers anyways. Like, dude,
How
and
did you feel?
I felt like
How defeated did you feel?
dude, yeah, I felt like I didn't matter. Like I
Exactly.
really didn't matter. But like, but that's the thing. It's a state school. CSUN is the school that. I'm not gonna lie, and I hope no one gets offended by this, but everyone and their mother goes to CSUN.
That's why I didn't go to see
Your school was a school that our counselors at my high school would tell us, oh, if you don't get into Pepperdine or UCLA or CSUN, or USC,
You're gonna get into
go
CSUN
to,
for sure.
you're okay. You're gonna be able to go to CSUN.
Yeah,
But CSUN also has amazing programs. So
and that's what I was gonna get to. Their film and television program is top notch.
They have a good business program.
And they also have a good nursing program.
They're known for their business program. Like finance, like a lot of accountants come out of CSUN.
My Nino finished his doctorate there.
And then as a Chicano studies major as well, that's where the Chicano studies major started.
Yeah.
At CSUN.
Mhm.
So it's like
back
a
when it
mecca.
was San Fernando Mission College.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think her name was Nancy Pedraza,
Pedraza. Yeah,
who started at CSUN.
I think so.
You're talking about
Pedraza.
your Nina that went
Oh
there.
no.
No, but yeah, like it just felt like I wonder how many other people felt the same way
That's
as I did.
So many people.
And it's funny because I converted.
Oh shit.
I changed majors to film, and when I was taking some preliminary film classes, people were asking like, "Oh, where'd you come from here?" I was like, "Oh, I've been here since 2010. I've been here for a long time, but I was wasting my time in biology." And they're like, "Dude, I came here in 2012. I was only here for 2 years for biology, but I switched to this." And I was like, yeah, oh cool. And then like in all of my other classes, I met at least 5 people who had switched from either sports medicine or biology from within CSUN to film, and they all had that same story. I didn't feel like I belonged there. It also, not on top of the subject matter not being as interesting, or they didn't want to, they didn't feel the passion for it, but they also felt like they were neglected by the advisors
Exactly.
or by certain people.
Yeah.
It was just sad. I mean,
Same story. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
It's
off.
all good.
But same story with Cal Poly. I mean, it's an engineering school.
Yeah.
And so that's where most of the resources are, because you go there for engineering. Yeah. If you go there for biology, you're gonna get a biology degree or whatever it's called. But like,
The main focus
Yeah.
is engineering.
yeah.
yeah.
I imagine it's the same story with CSUN and every other school.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just funny with CSUN because I got into the film and television program maybe like 2 years before we got major funding by not the Hollywood Reporter. I'm terrible because I was already on my way out when we started getting all this new equipment and all this new stuff.
Gym, new parking lot.
And then we're in
Memo's gone.
we made it to the top 20 film schools in the United States, and no one thought CSUN would ever make it there, ever. But it's because we started. You have to work from the ground up at CSUN, and you have to work with shit. Like we were using equipment from the 80s, and everyone was already way past that at other schools, but we were learning off the old shit, and we were making gold off the old shit, and we knew how to grind and fucking raise a lot of money, and people started taking notice of that. So all of our alumni that made it into the field and really made a difference
started giving back, or
not just them started giving back, but other people started realizing we need to invest in these schools, in this school in particular, because they are gonna fucking produce some good shit, and it's still an affordable education compared to UCLA Film School, to USC Film School, and we get teachers, from USC to teach part-time at our school.
That's awesome.
My directing teacher is a USC staff member, but he came on Fridays because he gave it a chance. Like I think the story was he worked on a set, and some of the crew was from CSUN, and they're like, "You learned all this back at CSUN?" Well, we learned with the old shit, and we had to kind of like work on the field to learn the new stuff. But that's where our work ethic comes from. And he was able to get a gig at CSUN just to see what it was. And he tells us every day, guys, you're paying a fraction of what you would pay at USC, and I'm giving you guys the same curriculum.
Yeah.
I expect the same thing from my USC students from you guys, and you guys do just as good as them.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was so cool. So, it goes back to kind of that thing, like it's life. Like your life, the path of life will lead you down to these like weird holes or like these weird places, and you can't. It's just tough because people will expect something out of life, but you can't hold on to that expectation all the time.
This is where
you got to go with the blows.
This is where like the importance of what would be advocacy comes in as well.
Yeah.
Like it's like as students, like for change, like if you want change, like it's so important to advocate. A lot of times people are compelled to stay quiet.
Yeah.
Or like to kind of like stay like comfortable, like not ask for more because they feel like they're not going to get it. And unfortunately, it's really uncomfortable, and people are going to be very uncomfortable when advocating for these necessities. But it's so important because that creates changes on campus or in society in general that are going to open doors for people like you that are coming in. Mm-hmm. So it's like at UCLA, well, no. When I was applying to universities, I got accepted to Berkeley on a full ride.
Dude.
Plus.
Oh my God. When she told me this shit, I was like, what the fuck?
Plus 10K. So there's a 10K incentive.
They were paying her to go to school, dude.
But this 10K incentive.
He didn't kill it. Don't pause it. Don't pause it.
We should play like the Jaws music.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do you have a paper towel?
You have a paper towel, Memo?
No.
In your hand.
I got this laptop.
I do not.
Smash it in the screen.
Yeah, we used up all the napkins.
Keep going, guys.
When I ate my birria.
Okay, so
But continue. So you made you got accepted into UC Berkeley, and you got a full ride. Plus, they were going to give you 10K extra for living and anything else.
So
right?
this 10K extra, there's this
Hold on.
There's this like.
Okay, cool.
What would I say? There was a lot of advocacy that happened at Berkeley a few years back. And it was specifically for students with dependents. A lot of advocacy on campus for like creating a more student parent friendly environment and creating a socioeconomic situation where parents could finally afford to go back to university. Right. And what that stemmed was this 10K grant. It's a parent grant.
It's specifically
for student parents.
Okay.
And it's like they have these centers where they create this inclusive environment where you can get tutoring, you can get access to counseling, you can get access to housing and all of these things all in one place for student parents.
Right.
But that wasn't born off of the nothing. That was born because of the advocacy that students did, like the advocacy that students brought forward. So these are things that were like AAP, for instance.
Yeah,
too.
AAP
at UCLA. I believe this is a movement that started with the Black Panthers at UCLA.
Yeah.
Nice.
So all of these programs, these are created by the advocacy and the voice of the students, of the underrepresented, of the minority community on campus. So it's also, although you are in these situations of like, well, fuck, like nothing's going right. Like there are people that are in positions of privilege or people who have more access than others that are in a space to be like, hey, you know what? This should be happening on campus. So if this should be happening, then we should organize. We should do this. We should do that, and bring it to the forefront, and to make the campus, like administrators and stuff, aware that we need this. Like, and usually, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? You're gonna get a no.
It goes back to for 100 no, for you ask 100 questions. Yeah, like you ask it for 100 times. 99 out of the 100, you're gonna get a no, but there could be that one.
That one time, and it's.
Really?
Yeah, there was another one.
Oh damn!
I don't know which.
We're swatting the haters, dude.
Yeah.
We're swatting at haters, bro.
Brujeria.
Brujas, dude.
So just to get off subject a little bit,
Jesus Christ.
we took a break really quick. So
This is an AFTP.
It was enlightening.
We're back to the original.
so really quick. So we'll get back to it right now. We're gonna change subjects. We're gonna get on another thing. But
off air, we had a conversation.
So, bro. Okay,
Yeah.
so when we log into our AFTP podcast Instagram and we go on Explore, I'm gonna do it live right now.
I'll go for it.
Okay.
I mean, no one can see it. They're just gonna have to.
Oh no, we're gonna do some screenshots.
I need to
you really
check them.
shouldn't, dude. You really
don't do screenshots.
I need to fact check it.
Look.
What is that?
It's nothing but girls with fucking big tits. Now, are
Excuse
you
me?
going
Big
on
breasts.
the podcast site?
On our web on our
account.
Instagram account?
Yeah.
No.
Let's see. Hold on.
She's looking. She's gonna tap on one to see who's following what, bitch. And
I don't follow any of those.
No, it's super funny because I noticed that like maybe
Because I mentioned it too. And
and then
I brought it. I was like,
when
hey,
he
dude, what's up
mentioned
with
it-
our Explore page?
yeah. When he mentioned it, I looked like, what the fuck? Like how? I was like, okay, which one of us was drunk and like on the and not on our own page and just looking at this shit? But I was like,
Ask me again.
hey Chris, are you looking up girls with big boobs on our Instagram page?
No.
Who is? The question is, who is?
Alicia asked me.
Are you looking at girls with big tits
No.
on the Explorer feed? Oh, okay. So you
No.
are. You are.
No. I'll do it with
No.
a straight face this time. Do it again.
And this is why our analytics show only 29% female.
I'm trying to bring in.
God damn it, dude.
Ask me. I'll do a straight face. I won't even. My eyes are closed. My eyes are closed. Do it. Go.
She has big personality, dude.
Ask me. Ask him. Straight face. Here we go.
Somebody ask him.
Chris, you have access to the Anything for the Podcast Instagram.
Yep. We all do.
Okay, we all do. Perfect.
Don't single me out.
No, I know. Okay. We all have access. Okay. Now, Alicia's just showing us some of the people that pop on. Now, do you, on your free time, go on the Anything for the Podcast page and
The one that we all have access
the one
to?
that we all have access
Okay,
to?
I know that one.
All right. Have you viewed women with big personalities on the podcast page? Have you? We're just asking you.
No.
Can I make a speculation?
All right.
I think I know who it is.
Ooh, it's
Oh
you,
my
Alicia.
God.
It's Willie.
Oh! Case closed, guys.
I gotta be honest.
Next subject.
I don't even go on our account page.
Hey, hold on. My name was just thrown in the fire.
And we're moving on. Case closed.
Who's the one that accidentally posts to our story all the time thinking it's his?
Oh no, excuse me. That was once.
That was like 3
That
fucking
was like-
times.
So then
Once?
it's memo.
No, that was once.
All right, you know,
And
case
it
closed.
was,
Case closed.
hold on. And it was my dog. It was a video of my dog.
With big tits,
You
man.
sick motherfucker.
My dog has big tits.
No, phone.
Your phone. But just all right, just we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
So,
Okay.
Case
No.
not closed.
so I wanted to bring up something that happened this week.
We're gonna get BuzzFeed, dude.
Yeah, I wanted to bring something that happened this week.
Oh yeah.
The Breonna Taylor case
Oh.
is one of them.
Okay.
One
I
of
thought.
them,
Okay.
dude.
What did you think?
This morning we're like,
Oh no. We'll save that for the end.
I mean, we're already on the subject of
No. We'll
unimportant
save that for the end. So the Breonna Taylor case. You guys been keeping up with that shit?
no.
Of course.
Oh man.
dude.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
I heard. Yeah, I've been hearing.
I don't know
stuff.
how.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I keep forgetting.
She keeps pulling out her gun, Second Amendment rights. Dude,
Oh,
I don't know how
yeah.
the fuck. Come on.
So pretty much,
Dick away, Alicia. God.
Sorry, let me put my.
Sorry,
penis
it's
away.
bigger than yours.
Zip up your pants. Jesus.
the cops who were involved in the Breonna Taylor shooting,
Mhm.
one of them was indicted on counts that had nothing really to do with the death of Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, it was about the shots that missed her.
Shooting in an apartment building. So I think it was
3 counts? Was it?
3 counts of like negligent
I'm looking it up.
endangerment or something like
Yeah.
that. But oh man, dude. So I knew that this shit was gonna happen probably on Tuesday, because on Tuesday Louisville declared that the
State of emergency.
the state of emergency,
Yeah.
and the city shut down. Now, there's only one reason you do that:
You're
when you
preparing
fucking
for,
know.
Yeah.
So they already had the deliberation in probably at the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
They were just trying to prepare for it.
Yeah.
Now,
So it's first degree wanton endangerment.
yeah, okay.
What the?
Wonton?
Wanton or
Oh.
wanton? I don't know.
How do you spell it?
WANTON.
Crispy wontons.
Yeah,
Okay.
wonton.
Crispy.
And
Wanton.
you know, man, it sucks because I understand the argument of both sides when it comes to like rioting and stuff like that, but when it happens over and over and over again
And nothing changed.
and nothing changes,
Did you hear what Charles Barkley and Shaq had to say about
that shit was wild.
Yeah.
Hold on,
That
Charles
shit was-
Barkley.
oh my-
I heard about that, but I didn't hear.
So
what it
Charles
is.
Barkley pretty much said, "Yeah, it's a sad thing, but we have to also take
He didn't say it like
No,
that.
no.
Come on.
He said-
we have to take into account
no
we have to
hands.
take into account that Breonna Taylor's boyfriend shot at the cops." Now, if I'm in bed,
Dude, hold on.
Right.
Charles Barkley is a white supremacist. I'm just gonna throw that out
Charles
there, dude.
Barkley has known to be a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
this is not the first
Yeah,
case.
the-
He's commented on the Trayvon case. He's commented on the George Floyd case.
Statues.
Everything, dude.
yeah.
He's a piece of shit. But if I'm in bed,
In our opinion.
okay,
In our opinion.
no,
guys.
in our opinion, he's a piece of shit. But if I'm in bed, bro, with my girlfriend, and I hear my fucking door get knocked down, what's the first thing I'm gonna do?
I think he was
the
actually in
strap,
the
dude.
kitchen.
Yeah, he like something like that,
He
right?
was in the kitchen, and he was licensed. He had a license to conceal carry. They were supposedly saying that this boyfriend was like a drug dealer or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and it's like no, Breonna Taylor's ex-boyfriend
Was
was
the drug
actually
dealer.
supposedly, from what I've read, he was a drug dealer. This guy had nothing to do with any of that. Like, so it's like this search warrant or anything wasn't even for him nor her. Like,
Yeah.
It was wrong
What-
place,
what-
wrong time.
Did they get the address wrong or what happened?
oh, there's
I think there was counts of like some neighbors were leading up with the police, like informing police about some certain
Oh,
topics.
dude, that's the worst.
But the thing is, like, dude, even if he like, okay, he's in the kitchen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, of course I'm gonna fucking pull out my fucking gun.
I
and be
think
like,
12 witnesses said that there was no it was a no knock, like
It was just bam.
yeah, like that there was no announcement that the police
the
were there.
fuck,
Like there
dude?
was 12 witnesses that said so, and I think it was 11 witnesses that said that there was no announcement, and one said that there was maybe an announcement, but that it was possible that they did not hear. That it was a very big possibility that they did not hear. Like
Yeah, because aren't they supposed to like? They have to repeat themselves at least twice or
I've
3
seen- I've
times
seen-
before they can knock down a wall.
I've lived in apartment buildings, dude, where I've seen warrants be carried out.
I have too.
Yeah, and usually what it is,
Okay.
all the cops will be behind one cop in the front, and they'll all have their M13s, M16s, whatever. and they'll knock on the fucking door. They'll knock on the door as hard as they fucking can.
Police.
They'll announce.
They'll
announce who they're looking for and why they're there.
Identify
yourself. If you don't answer, probably like the third time, that's when they're knocking on the fucking door and they're coming in.
And in this case, they're saying that didn't even happen. If that one witness was correct, they only did it once and said, "We're here." Okay.
It's like specifically said there's a possibility that they did not. They could not hear. Like it was a big possibility that they did not hear.
But
that
11,
one witness.
11-1. But the courts are always going to go with the one.
And it wasn't even
one, dude.
They got a $12 million payout. I believe it was $12 million.
The parents of Breonna Taylor got a $12 million payout.
They got a $12 million payout. And then people are saying that, they should shut up already because they got paid. Like, what more do they want? It's
dude,
like,
your child was fucking murdered.
That's kind of telling you like how much is your child's worth? Is your child's life really worth?
Or people think your child's
like, don't get me wrong, dude. 12 million is nice.
And it's like they're trying to absolve, like the police department is trying to absolve themselves of this criminal behavior because they're like, we paid her, like, and they're fine with it. But it's like at the end of the day, you guys are still fucking criminals. You fucking killed Breonna Taylor. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Whether you pay $12 million or not, it's not going to erase the fact that you fucking murdered a person who was in her
correct me
bed.
if I'm wrong. They didn't call the ambulance right away.
They didn't.
When they shot her.
How long do you think it took them?
Let me look.
From what I read, I might be wrong because she's gonna look it up right now. It might be about 5-10 minutes
after she had already been laying down on the ground.
Yeah, and they didn't. And
20 minutes.
20
minutes.
20 minutes.
Wow.
And, okay, so I've only heard of one story like that, dude. It was the North Hollywood bank robbery back in the
shootout.
In the 90s.
Yeah, the big shootout.
So those guys, and again, this is fucking privilege. Those guys, 2 white Russians, all right?
White Russians?
White Russians.
Drank?
They were pulled over out in the valley.
Okay.
And they had 2 AK-47s with drum magazines in them.
Right.
High capacity assault rifles, which are illegal in the state of California.
Yeah, dude.
They went to jail, and the judge let them keep their guns so they could sell them and pay off court fees.
Damn.
The next week.
That's a good lawyer.
That's a good fucking lawyer.
I guess, yeah.
The next week.
Some Better Call Saul shit, dude. God damn.
The next week, they robbed the North Hollywood Bank of America over on Laurel Canyon.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
And
what year was that? That was
like 93, 92.
I was just a wee little lad.
I was swimming.
They got one of the guys in the house.
Yeah.
And they shot him and they let him bleed out for 35 minutes. And the mom won a case against the LAPD for I think it was around 3, 4, 5 million.
Damn. Oh yeah, because at the time
they let him bleed out, bro.
Yeah, dude. Fuck. But it's like you let him bleed out. But he was shooting at you guys like fucking. He had no care. They had no care for who they were.
No, that's
shooting
what I'm saying.
at.
That's what I'm saying. But when it comes to something like this, dude, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't just. Yeah, so
it's like also I'm gonna bring up right now because this man was licensed to conceal carry.
Yeah,
Philando Castillo.
Yeah.
So Philando Castillo.
He was killed in front of his daughter.
He was killed in front of his daughter and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
In the car, right?
In the car. Dude. He got pulled over and he let the officer know, look, I am licensed to carry. Like, I just want to let you know because the officer was asking for his identification.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just letting you know. And he was reaching for his ID and he shot him.
Yeah.
He shot him.
Yeah.
This is a man.
In front of
this is a black man that was exercising his Second Amendment rights.
Yeah.
And the NRA didn't speak of this situation for months.
Of course not.
They didn't even the comment that they did was so vague.
Yeah.
It was such a vague comment. Like it was like they were forced to make a comment.
Oh yeah, they had to because okay.
Had this been any other situation, it's like where, I mean, we see it play out. Like we see these videos of like people of lighter complexions, white people going off on police officers. They have fucking guns on their holsters, and like. They're not seen as a threat.
It's fucked up because you see them holding the front of their belt, but then as soon as you see a video of someone, a person of color, the hand's already on the gun.
Yeah.
Hand's already on the gun or on the taser.
And half of the time, these people aren't even armed.
No.
Like the people that are being shot, which are black people, primarily black men.
Yeah.
And in this situation, a black woman, they're being shot and they are unarmed.
Yeah. Fucking ridiculous.
It always comes back down to it, man. But with Philando Castillo, that shit was that hurt. That shit was fucking heartbreaking
because it was recorded.
They almost unloaded on this motherfucker.
And dude, it was a Latino. It was a Latino cop.
Yeah.
And dude, it just comes down like I think it wasn't even the shooting. The saddest thing for me is the dash cam in the police car. When like the daughter is like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna just like
consoling his mom.
That shit had me dead. That shit, like I was dying inside because I was like, I don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to fucking like, what is this?
Yeah,
what the fuck is this?
That's why I don't watch those anymore, dude.
It hurts.
I couldn't watch George Floyd. I was like, I
didn't watch George Floyd either.
Me neither.
I refused to watch anything.
I saw the clip and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I watched it, dude, and I like sat there and I was just like fuck. Like, okay, so and that's the fucking problem nowadays, dude. Everyone wants to film it.
Well,
you're telling me there's about 4 police officers there on the scene. You're telling me all 30 of you motherfuckers who are around watching this happen and hearing this man yell for his mom who's dead, knowing he's gonna die. You guys are gonna fucking do anything about it?
It goes back to that, like what I heard once. It was like there's out of 1,000 cops, there's 999 good ones, but one bad one. So but they do something bad, and the 999 don't say anything or do anything about it. They're all bad cops.
It's the complacency that's going to categorize you.
The LA County Sheriff he just got prosecuted. The old
Lee
one,
Baca?
Right? Yeah.
Lee Baca was prosecuted for
fuck Lee Baca, by the way.
Selling back drugs that were confiscated back into Boyle Heights.
Yeah.
So remember the movie Training Day?
Yeah.
With Denzel Washington. So that movie, dude, it's not too far from the fucking truth.
It's not.
So the crash unit that we now know in Van Nuys and Panorama City, all these places in the Central Valley, right? Mm-hmm. They were a unit out in downtown in the early 90s, but the city got so fucking fed up with them, dude, that they ran them out of their city. And where did they have to put them? They put them in Van Nuys. You know how many times, dude, I got pulled over with my friends, like just outside of work, just chilling out after work
on the property,
drinking in your car.
No, we're not even drinking in the car, but just drinking in the property, right?
Or having a barbecue.
Because having a barbecue, the way it was set up is there was this big gate that closed off the parking lot, right? And then it's like probably like a huge. It was a huge ass parking lot. Mm-hmm. One day we see this car just pull up. And we're like, who the fuck is that? And they rip open the gate, dude. They rip open the gate. Helicopter comes in. 20 fucking squad cars come in. All guns drawn. And we're just like, what the fuck is going? And it was crash unit.
We didn't know LAPD wanted glizzies.
It was crash unit, and they were trying to see if we had drugs on it. All that fucking light and fire show, dude.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Yeah.
So stupid.
But that happened frequently for fucking months.
Dude.
Months. Get pulled over, get fucking searched, everything. I actually had a friend, his name was Tonio. He had an open case because during birthdays we would buy people cakes and we'd cut them, right? He lived down the street on Blythe Street, but he was affiliated and he already had a record. And in a gang, what's the word I'm looking for? In an area where there's a lot of gangs, they have gang injunctions. So he was already underneath a gang injunction. He was walking back home with a knife. He got pulled over because he's in a gang injunction. They arrested him. That cop would come every day before the trial because he fought it and just tell him like, hey man, you're not gonna get anywhere with it. Yeah. Just fucking plead guilty. Like, why are you gonna make me waste my time and go to court? And it was just like the most sobering shit to me. I'm like, holy fuck, this cop is literally taking time out of his shift to come and find this motherfucker and tell him, hey, I don't want to go to court. Just say you're guilty. You're not gonna win anyways. Yeah. And he won. Like it goes back and forth, dude.
Mm-hmm. Law enforcement, like honestly, like the way that the system, the way that this is built, like people say it's broken, but the thing is that like something had to work in the first place for it to be broken. The law enforcement system and like all of this policing and stuff is only meant to serve one community and one community only. And it's like it's meant to criminalize everybody else. It's like we have to look at the historical start of what law enforcement was and what it was meant to do.
It's not broken. It's working the way it was supposed to work.
Exactly.
LAPD, I don't know if you heard the story.
When we talked about this the other night,
I told the story on Friday. Shit. I told the story on Friday. It's like a big. It's always disputed because it's like a historian dispute. So back when the Chinese were over here building the railroads, what they would do is they would have them work between Monday and Friday, and they wouldn't pay them, but they would go get drunk Saturday and Sunday. So in LA, what's now known as LA, they would have this group of people that would go and corral back the Chinamen.
They would corral them
and put them back in cages. That was the start of LAPD.
That was the first drunk tank.
That was the first drunk tank. That was the first, and then after that, that's when LAPD formed, and a lot of these same people were part of LAPD.
But they were also part of what other organization?
Oh, the KKK.
KKK.
Jesus.
Yeah, it goes. It's a full circle, dude. Everything it's built off of is just it's
just this is built by the institution.
Yeah.
The institution. This is how it's meant to work. Like Chris said, right now, it's like it's not broken. It's like this is how it was built to work.
Yeah.
And it's like there is no amount of reform that is gonna make this work. Like no amount. It's like it's what people say abolition at this point. Like it's like they do need to defund the police. Like it's like everyone's like, oh well, like there's all these criminals and these bad kids or this and that, and it's like, how are you guys gonna like continue to pursue this rhetoric or like spew this rhetoric? And it's like you guys are taking away from these after school activities, like from education. You guys are pulling money from the most essential things for like the things that children need to grow up to be what you consider a model citizen.
Yeah,
and what are your expectations? It's like
they're making themselves work for the future.
Well,
that's what it is.
LAPD bought in the past 5 years. They bought a police Lamborghini.
Yeah, the police
and then
Lamborghini.
They bought a Tesla Model
badass.
X.
No,
Oh yeah, they got the new Tesla. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
$3 billion. $3 billion.
But that's because they had nothing else to spend it on.
And then Garcetti only did $150 million cut from $3 billion. That's nothing.
Yeah, a lot of people are trying to like, yeah, he did it. Like he just.
But don't worry, guys. Electric vehicles in 2035.
Oh,
that shit.
That is fucking retarded. I'm sorry.
Talk about
I used
class
the R
war.
word. That was dumb,
Talk
dude.
about class war. You want to talk about class war, guys? The fact is, we got to worry about the cops.
Yeah.
We got to worry about racial injustice. We got to worry about poverty, all this shit, right? Gentrification, all this tied together. And then to top it all off, you want us to all have electric cars by 2035?
So
Suck my dick.
Is he trying? Is he okay? Because the way I looked at it was he's trying to stop the sale of gas vehicles.
Oh, Newsom?
You could still,
Newsom,
you could still
Newsom.
have them, but how long, Memo, do you really think they're going to keep registering your shit?
I'm just saying, like, so it's because it's already happening now with any vehicle. What, before 1995? Like, you're for sure not passing smog. Even 2000, some vehicles before 2000, like 1999, you're gonna have a really fucking hard time unless you were taking care of that bitch since it was.
They're literally I get the sentiment. Like we're trying to reduce emissions and all of this.
Oh
shit.
yeah, because we're on that 7-year countdown.
But it's like we're literally prioritizing like the wrong things. Like at the end of the day, a car. Yeah. It's like these big corporations are the people that you guys should be truly like.
You should be taxing them so we could build a fucking new Green Deal and we could do what we need to do.
Yes.
But I had a friend, his name's Dofer, and he, always used to tell me, he was just like, every time we go to like these meetings, every time we fucking meet up with our friends at, like LA Can and stuff, everybody always wants to complain. Everybody always wants to complain, but nobody realizes that if we don't have a world to live on in the next 15 fucking years, no one is gonna have anything to complain
there's no fucking point.
And these people don't fucking care because literally the people that don't give a shit that are in power, they're not gonna see the devastation.
I just can't.
A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them.
I just can't understand these people that think none of this really exists. Like this whole like the pollution and the whole fucking global
they believe in God and Jesus, but they don't believe in science.
They don't believe
facts.
that's because they believe in God and Jesus and they're full of that bullshit. I'm sorry. I hate religion. I think it's the stupidest thing.
And just for the side note, I do believe in God, but I am not pertaining to any religion, so to say.
Pobrecita. I'm just playing.
Do you think God made aliens?
Yeah.
Or are aliens God?
I'd be dope. I'd be down. It'd be so fucking dope if like in the next 10 years the fucking Vatican says, oh yeah, dude, the aliens, yeah, they're real, dude. They're the archangels. They're up there, bro.
Aliens,
dude. Then my show, the show I worked on, would be like, fucking money, dude.
Why can't Earth be like a small side project?
That's what
Little Dicky.
It's like we're in a snow globe and they're just like shaking us up right
You
now.
remember the movie Men in Black?
Yes.
Men in Black at the end where they're playing marbles with the universe?
Yes.
That's so fun.
Literally, they're setting one on fire right now. They just released the locusts on the other side. Freaking pandemic. Just sprinkle a little pandemic on there.
It's crazy because that's it's the weird search for truth that we're all kind of like. Not all of us are in on that, but I feel like some of us that are more. I don't even want to say enlightened because that's almost like looking down on other people, but if you have the urge to learn more and to really understand what's going on, you'll be able to have these wide perspectives on life.
So if God created us and also aliens, where do we fit in with the aliens?
Who does he like better? Do
God love all our children equally?
Or
do you have a favorite child?
Me?
Yeah.
I thought he was talking to God first. I thought he was looking up. I was like, what? Like
God,
no favorites.
I got hands clasped right now.
Off air, you'll tell me.
Huh?
Off air, you'll tell me.
No, it's not. I will say, I like my children
Alicia.
different on different days. Like I love them the same, but there's certain days.
Hang on. It's 7-day week. So 4 days you like one child, 3 days.
No,
which one is the 4 days?
It's literally such a gamble. Children, like my kids are batshit crazy. Like they're batshit crazy.
It's okay. You'll tell me off air.
No, there is no favorite. There's no.
We'll
favorite.
post it in our story. Don't worry. If you don't tell us, well, I'm gonna make one up.
No, okay. You go ahead.
You like Megan more.
You like Megan more, yeah, dude.
My aborted child because I don't have a Megan.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. No abortions here.
Dude.
But I believe in them.
Oh man, fucking. Wow, we got into God talk. I
don't know. I think it's cool. Like, if you have time for it.
Well,
I don't have time.
If humans are as fucked up as we are aliens as fucked up as they are?
I would hope so. Like, I would really hope, dude, that if we were able at one point to visit a fucking another dimension and another place, because there's no way that we're the only planet.
There's no way.
Can we say that that humans are fucked up, so we're criticizing God's creatures?
What I'm saying is, I want to be able to go to another planet. I want to be able to go to the planet and get shit faced with aliens.
So, okay, what you're saying is we're criticizing God's creatures. So God gave us the power of free will. So according to the Bible or whatever, He gave us the power of free will to be who we want to be. We can choose whatever path we choose. So it's not necessarily, it's not we're judging. Like at the end of the day, it's like we all have our own, like we all get to decide what's good and what's bad. Like
we like to think that aliens are these perfect, can do no wrong.
No, I think. Well, there's a select group of people that believe that, but then
they're gonna come down and teach us how to live.
Also,
honestly, I just think that they're gonna see the state of the world right now. They're just gonna like.
You ever see the movie Signs?
Meteor.
You ever see when Mars attacks? Dude, no, I think. Well, I don't know, because a lot of people look at the aliens as God. God could be the aliens.
What was that cult that killed themselves?
Oh,
Heaven's Angels or what?
No, this is Jamestown.
No, that was
Hell's Angels.
The ones that wore the Nikes.
No.
That's the biker gang.
They believe
the Mongols.
The comet was passing by, and when that comet would pass by, if they killed themselves at the same time as the comet was passing right over them.
A comet. Where's the knife?
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate. They would ascend to the spaceship and be part of that, and then just fly away with the alien
That's
overlords.
So romantic.
It's interesting, but it was weird that they all wore matching outfits and matching Nikes. Yeah, when we went to the Museum of Death,
which we do not condone anymore.
No, fuck the Museum of Death. I think they closed down. I think they officially closed down because of the pandemic. Yeah, but they did take our money.
So there you go.
They only took 2 trips.
Fuck you guys, take my money.
They took 2 trips from me, but
one
that's
for me.
it. But you bought a T-shirt.
I did, which I trashed.
Yeah, because
I still rock my Burgerama.
The problem. well, here's the thing. The problem with I'm not saying the Burgerama wasn't a problem.
Yeah, you're comparing race to fucking to racism.
To racism, yeah. But it was the artists. A lot of the artists that did a lot of the artwork for the T-shirts and the merch of the Museum of Death. He was a neo-Nazi.
Well, it's not even that. They were caught playing neo-Nazi music in the museum at one point.
Oh, well, yeah, and then they had a fucking shrine for G.G. Allen, dude.
Come on.
Nah, dude. G.G. Allen was he was the living embodiment of scum. Like, but that was his thing. And that was the cool part. He accepted it. That was punk rock as fuck. he accepted that he
That's
was
like saying
scum.
Nick Nolte's not cool.
Damn, dude. Okay. All right. Come on.
Who the fuck is Nick Nolte?
All right, Willie, explain who Nick Nolte
Nick
is.
Nolte is
Sounds
an actor.
familiar.
Nick Nolte is an actor. He just doesn't give a fuck.
He's a renegade.
With the fucking, he talks with a rough
Yeah,
fucking voice.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
He kind of looks like Kenny Rogers sometimes.
He
He's
looks
a gambler.
homeless.
oh, dude, I don't know, but yeah,
All
yeah.
I'm saying, dude, is there's no way in the fucking world that we're the only fucking planet with a fucking working ecosystem
There's no way.
with all this shit.
So, do you guys consider like plants to be like from another planet to be aliens?
I mean,
Is that classified as
Wait,
aliens?
whoa, hold
look
on.
at the bottom of the expanse of the ocean. It's like we don't even know what
I think it's like what 80% of it hasn't even been explored.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's more at this point that they're finding out that there's more that we don't know about.
No, they always knew. It's just we don't have the technology to handle the
There's
pressure
probably islands,
deep down.
dude, that we don't even know
The
about.
pressure to
All right.
figure out
So
the rest.
I could talk about this because the episode already aired, but on the Unexplained, we did an episode about the underground world, and we were talking about building bunkers underground and underground towns and villages from the past. But there's a part because there's a theory. So you guys know the movie and the book Journey to the Center of the Earth.
No.
No.
Okay, so
I mean, I've never read it or saw the movie, but I've heard about it.
do you
With
know
The Rock,
do you
right?
get the premise? Like, so the premise is
The
so
Rock has to save a child?
they explore. Yeah, they basically they have to go. The Rock has to save a child. Yeah, dude. They have to.
All his movies.
That's all his movies, dude.
Yeah, The Rock was in it.
Yeah, dude. The Rock wasn't.
And he plays a tooth fairy in it. It was really good.
I love it.
Really good.
I love it. But yeah, so basically the Earth is a bunch of layers. So we already know that there's a bunch of geo layers to the Earth. So like the Earth's crust, magma.
He's hard on the outside, but inside he's a soft little guy.
he's a hot softy. You know what I mean? And he,
Like The Rock.
yeah, like you know what? Just like The Rock, he should.
Great casting. My goodness.
Side
He
side
killed
thing.
it.
I still think he should run for president. The Rock should.
No.
should- yeah, come on.
No.
Come on.
No, I think there's some.
We've
news-
already seen what happens.
no,
What
no,
does he
I-
know
What?
about? What does he know about
You
politics?
know what?
think-
He knows how to do. He knows how
Yo,
to walk
Alicia,
tall with a big
you
stick.
you have the computer on right now.
Speak softly. with a
Something
big
happened
foot.
while we were on break. I didn't get to look it up, but The Rock just
Endorsed.
endorsed a nominee, and everyone's really pissed about it.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Can you look it up? I think he endorsed a Republican Party because everyone's fucking
All right,
livid.
I'm gonna retract my statement.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to Journey of the Center. Journey
Oh,
to the
really?
Center.
You just found out you
Oh
were a
no!
Republican not that long ago.
No.
What do you do?
Willie's Republican.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson endorses Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
You can't be more far off, Willie.
God damn it, Willie. Okay, no. But stop. People are still mad because fucking we're stuck with Joe Biden.
Of course.
Yeah, but it's
a fucked up situation.
yeah, bro. Like, okay.
Okay, but
It's like picking between who's your creepiest uncle.
Oh no. Who do you tell your parents about creepy Uncle Bob who doesn't? Anyways, but
Hey,
look out for Uncle Chris with that big ass.
dick.
all right,
back
man,
that
so
ass
explain.
up. Journey to the Center of the
Epic
Earth, guys. So, Journey to the Center of the Earth, basically, they're going down. Like, there's a theory that there's multiple livable layers underneath the Earth. So, imagine, like, just orbs inside the Earth. So, it's just a smaller Earth. But it's not.
Orbs.
Yeah, not kind of like orbs. So, like, if you think of a circle and then another circle within it and then another circle within it.
So what's in between the
So there's
circles?
oxygen. So there's dirt.
Oh, like
lots
little
of-
bubbles?
Yeah. So it. You know what? You know what's the best example? The Toon World in Space Jam.
This sounds like a horrible movie.
This reminds me of Dante's Inferno. If you guys
It's
haven't
yeah,
read
the
it.
nine circles of
The
hell.
9 circles of hell.
So wait, if you're in one of those underground ones, can you breathe?
Yeah,
up?
there's oxygen. So
no,
there's
yeah,
life.
but can't you like breathe in all of the oxygen and then eventually the oxygen's gonna run out?
And that's where the discrepancies come in.
Okay.
That's where but it's
So
a-
this is where people are like, oh, I believe that up until this point, in which case you can.
yeah. The book is fictional. The book is fictional.
Of course, the fucking book.
The
is
book
fictional.
is fictional.
Okay, no one
but
thought that it was real.
But there are people who I didn't get to look deeply into their explanations of where the oxygen comes from technically, or like
Because there is no explanation.
but in a sense, if you think about it, there has to be a hole that gets you into the next layer, and oxygen from the outside will have to travel in. But if you think about it, it'll get thinner and thinner every time you go down. But also just, plants produce oxygen, trees produce oxygen. It's those kind of things that come into play. I'm just saying there's people who believe in bullshit like this, like people who believe in the flat earth theory.
Every single week,
just fucking,
you guys bring in just fucking conspiracy theory.
But I'm just saying, how we were saying that there's 80% of the ocean that still has not been discovered or touched by humans. Mm-hmm. It's people think it goes the same for a geoterritorial, just anything below the surface of the earth, any dirt. But they're thinking there could be pockets of the idea. There's beaches
when you say
under the earth.
When you say there's people,
yeah,
do you mean like
quacks,
crab people?
Like 2?
So here's the thing. You're right.
3?
There's and he brings up because this is
4?
one thing that
What about 5?
I love my job.
5 people?
I love my job.
There's 4 people in this room right now.
But there's a blog, there's a blog for every theory they come up with of the same 5 people talking about it. But because it sounds really good and it's entertaining, people buy into it and we'll bring it up, and
it's like some Alex Jones shit.
It's like Russian bots trying to stir up,
controversy,
divide the country.
Yeah. So that's
both people on both sides believe it.
True.
And it's all one big TikTok server.
You have one protest. The Russian bots are going to create a counter protest across the street.
True.
And then you're going to say, "Oh, these people on the other side, they want to counter protest us, so we're going to come at them even harder." And
they may not even exist.
You know who we need on this podcast? You know who we need?
God.
We need to get Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh yeah, let me
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Now it might not work out because of everything he's going through right now.
What's he going through?
Oh, you didn't hear?
I didn't. No,
he has like a rape scandal.
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
A rape scandal.
Yeah, like some girl came out on TikTok and said that he
okay, hang on. Some girl came out on TikTok.
Some older woman came out on TikTok and said that when they were in college together, he raped her.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if this is true.
Believe all women, Willie.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. Here we go, the believe all women thing. But we're not saying it didn't happen. But okay, so is there a case?
No, and I don't think it ever went anywhere.
It didn't go anywhere.
But the problem is that's what happens. Look at me.
Yeah.
It's like nobody believed. And at the end of the day, it's like because of the new statute of limitations in California, it's like I can come forward. But what's going to happen?
What is the statute of limitations?
It's changed. Let me bring it up. I believe that I have up until I'm 40 because it's now in consideration of the fact that minors might be unable to report due to whatever circumstances. So after you turn 18, I think you have up until you're 40 to report.
Dude.
But it's like, what's going to come up? What's going to happen with
all the
report?
evidence is
bro.
Yes.
You know what's fucked up? That's one thing that always I hated. That I heard this as an excuse, and I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, but I've heard parents use this when a kid was getting abused. I only know this from physically abused, but what are you gonna do? Who are you gonna call? And then what's gonna happen? You're gonna get put in the system, and you're gonna live a fucking horrible life. You're gonna lose everything.
Well,
it's 10 years.
Dude,
10 years?
After you turn 18.
10 years after you turn 18?
I have...
Well, wasn't that's why the Bill Cosby case was such a big horror show, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of these women couldn't even be in court.
Yes.
Because the statute of limitations was gone already.
Yeah.
But what was that kid? Since we're on that topic that you brought a memo.
Yeah.
Who was that kid in Palmdale? They did a whole docuseries about him.
Gabriel Hernandez.
That shit, man.
That was fucked up, dude.
You want to talk about some docuseries?
Dude.
Whew.
That is crazy.
I couldn't even finish it. Because I didn't think they were going to get in detail about it on docuseries, with the pictures and all that shit, dude. Yeah. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
There was also a case, I forgot where it was. It was somewhere, I believe it was somewhere in Middle America. You're Middle America, even Wisconsin. I think it might have been Wisconsin, but I'm going to say a white state where these parents had these kids and they had them fucking chained in a basement.
Oh, I know those kids.
Yeah, but they would come out
6 kids or something.
Yeah, no, it was 13
or some
kids.
Shit.
And they would have them all in, and none of them knew the outside world except me. They were only allowed outside of that basement twice a year, 3 times a year.
Well, wasn't that show based off that incident, Unbreakable, with Kimmy
David
Schmidt?
and Louis Turpin.
Yeah. Oh, dude, they were fucking nuts. They were like, I want to call them like the Partridge Family of fucking kidnapped children.
I think the
dude.
oldest kid only weighed like 89 pounds.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And he was
16, 17 or something like that.
Yeah,
I think
he was
he was
already
18.
Yeah, he was already a young adult. Like it was fucked up, dude. But it oh my god, dude, kids kids are so helpless. Kids are so fucking helpless.
Back to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, excuse me, sorry.
It's just full circle, dude. Like it's all the same shit. Like I guess you could relate to Bill Cosby with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like Bill Cosby was out there hosting shows. Kids say the darndest things, and he had the Cosby Show.
Yeah, he was an example.
He
He was America's dad.
He was America's dad.
Dad,
All
yeah.
his kids on the show were Ivy League students, and who was in that show? She's fine as
Kind of okay, Willie.
Lisa Bonet.
Lisa Bonet.
Lisa Bonet, dude, she was quiet during that whole scandal.
Yeah.
And what did Raven say? Raven actually got a lot of backlash for that shit.
Well, Raven Simone herself is just
I don't know.
she's an interesting character. She's an interesting character, but that could also be a byproduct of what the fuck happened back in the day, and it sucks. It's terrible. It's fucking horrible, dude.
It's a whole circle.
Who's next? Bill Nye, the science guy? Come on, dude. Come on now. I'm just saying, like old childhood heroes or like anyone like that you kind of looked up to.
Well, look at Ellen.
Fucking Ellen, bro.
Look at Ellen. Like, I don't know if you guys saw that. Like,
This is why it's so important not to idolize people.
Yeah.
Like, this is the importance
Don't
of it.
idolize people and never meet your idols.
Well, didn't you guys just say you wanted The Rock to be president?
No.
I kind of just said that as a joke, but
Well, no. Him and Tom Hanks wanted to run, didn't they?
Dude,
At one
That was
point?
an SNL skit. I don't.
No,
It was.
No, but okay. So look, Ellen. I don't know if you saw
People
it.
also believe in flat Earth. Like,
Ellen, like, I think it was a week ago.
People also believe in
started
God.
like the 18th season, I think, and she like addressed the shit that happened during the break.
yeah, I didn't watch it.
It was the most half-assed fucking.
Of course, she was making jokes throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, like she didn't know what you could tell that she was uncomfortable.
but is that because she's a comedian that she was making?
No,
jokes
I
about?
feel like it's because
It was very forced.
Yeah,
You could tell
okay.
that it wasn't.
she had to do it.
because she was. Yeah, I mean, there's
It
no-
was a risk of losing her fucking empire.
Yeah, dude, the E Empire.
You know who's one exception in my mind? And we could disagree on this, but it's the only person in my mind that I feel like it was put out there and it was taken to a place where it should have been taken. Aziz Ansari.
Yeah.
What happened with him?
Oh,
Aziz
dude.
Ansari.
He
Was
asked
at the
for
beginning
he
of
asked
the,
for a blowjob.
No, it goes into more than that. He went on a date with this girl.
It was.
And-
This came out at the very beginning of the whole Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really did.
He went on a date with this girl,
Poor
but
fucking
come to
Aziz.
find out, Aziz Ansari is a little weird in bed. And like he's a little freaky.
He's a little
But the
awkward,
girl
man.
wasn't into it. So nothing was like really forced upon her, but she left. So nothing came about it. And then when the Me Too movement came out, she wrote this whole fucking article about how like he was really forceful and stuff like that. So, but she kept saying it was just a date gone wrong.
She said that, not
Yeah.
him.
She said it was a date gone wrong.
Okay.
And
And
it dove into this whole other fucking
so you think
thing.
people took it and made it something else?
I'm not saying that there are but what I'm saying is there's no excuse for actions. People are monsters.
Have you seen this show, Master of None?
Yeah.
Season 2. Did you watch that?
Oh yeah, season
No, I
2.
didn't
dude.
watch
In season 2, he's a writer
Ah.
for it, and he wrote an episode. Well, I mean, he's one of the writers, not the only writer.
Right, of course not.
But in one of the episodes, they discuss hostile workplace environments for sexual harassment in the industry.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Where the big producer, like Aziz Ansari, was gonna have this brand new cooking show that was just picked up, and then his co-host, who was one of the main producers of it, he was sexually harassing one of the makeup artists.
Okay.
And it brought up that subject where it talks about how women, are in these situations where they can't speak up. They're in these, situations like that. And so for him to have that on his show and then be tied into that Me Too movement was like very like, hey guys, that's not really, if he was someone who would put women in those situations, I don't think he would have that episode.
And I get what
In it.
you mean because people try comparing him to Louis C.K. But Louis C.K. wasn't doing episodes like that. Louis C.K. was writing in episodes where he was talking about jerking off in front of people in episodes where he was talking about doing shit like that, and Sarah Silverman was a guest on it. And a lot of the shit that Louis C.K. was accused for, he made fun of in his show.
Yeah.
And
his new stuff,
dude,
too.
that shit was so hard. Like, because I was a big Louis C.K. fan.
Yeah.
And when I heard that shit, I'm like, holy fuck. Like,
putting women in these uncomfortable
because
situations.
Weinstein was doing the same shit, but Weinstein took it a step further.
Yeah.
But no, like, that Aziz Ansari shit, it was like the only one for me where I was like, man, like, it kind of sounds like just like a bad night.
It does, but it doesn't disvalidate.
It doesn't
the
disvalidate at all.
experience
No,
of a woman.
if she really felt uncomfortable by it, by all means, like, that's valid.
Because even if you
and
read
it's
you read
terrible.
the article, she's
Accountability is important.
Yeah,
Like,
accountability
you
is
know,
important, but
accountability is important, which I'm reading here, and it seems like he did take accountability for the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like these moments where we're like, oh, what was wrong and what wasn't. It's like at the end of the day, like her experience is 100% valid. Like it's like what she went through. It's like there's people like for me, for instance, like I had my moments when I became sexually active, like where I had to step away because I was triggered by past trauma, like whatever, something triggered like a past trauma. And it's like, I had to step away, but there are men who will coerce you to continue.
it's the negotiation.
It's like no, like
no,
let's-
not a
No,
negotiation.
no, there's no negotiation.
No.
There's a force.
Yeah.
Like it's a force, and it's like I'm expecting you to continue, and then there's this fear of like what could happen. Like, can this man dominate me? Like, or like should I just become submissive in this situation to not get hurt? Because we also see what happens to women when they reject men. There's women who have been shot in the face for telling a guy who like, I don't want to be with you, or I don't want to talk to you. Like, I've known women who have gotten socked in the face for telling a guy that, no, I don't want to dance with you.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
Fucking shit.
it's like, you know, it's like at the end of the day, it's like when we're put in these situations, it's like, really, we don't even know what to do. Like, what's the right move here? Like, it's like for me, a lot of times I'll go to the bars or stuff, and it's like men will come up to me and they'll approach me. I'll try to be as nice as possible. Like, as nice.
They'll try to be respectful. Somewhat
Like,
respectful.
just because I'm afraid. Like, I am afraid of what could happen. Like, if I'm not on this person's good side and I don't say
Right.
exactly what they want me to say. I'll try to be as respectful when declining. Like,
Yeah, be polite. Yeah. Well,
but it's like, and it's like, I shouldn't have to be polite. Like, it's
No,
like,
I get what you're saying. Like, when I used to work at the
Yeah.
bars, there was this one night. This is the only time it never happened. This girl, it was last call, and she was outside on the bench with this dude. But you could tell, like, she wasn't trying to leave. So I went, I'm like, hey, guys, we're leaving. And, like, the guy got up and was like, all right, let's go. And, like, the girl just stayed there.
yeah.
And, like, at that point, we all looked at each other. All the security guards looked at each other, and we knew. We all fucking knew right away, like, what was going on. We're like, this girl started talking to this guy. Guy probably got a little weird and is trying
She
to
doesn't know how to shake them.
She doesn't know how to shake him. So
Yeah.
we're like, hey, man, you got to go. He's like, oh, well, I'm with her. I'm like, what's her name? And he looks at me, and I'm like, yeah, dude, we got to go. So we let her stay there, and she felt bad that we had to keep her. So
But
we
you're
made
like-
sure she was
Sometimes
safe.
you
But you're
feel
like, that's
so
my job.
bad. You
That's my
feel so
job.
bad that you feel forced into these
Yeah,
situations.
exactly, but
it's like you're guilt tripped into this situation too.
And the thing was, we didn't know where the guy went, but where the bar is, it's an industrial area. So when you walk down that street, dude, it's fucking dark. So we're like, dude, we're not about to fucking let you go. Like, call your Uber. He's like, I don't mean to do this to you guys. Like, it's not a fucking problem. Like, it's not an issue.
Yeah.
So she called her Uber, and, like, sure enough, she walks to her Uber. The guy came out from across the street,
Fucking bitch.
and it's just like, that was the only time it ever happened. But dude, the fear.
Yeah.
And like, cause like when we said, okay, it's time to go, and he was like, all right, well, let's go. The fear in her face at that moment, she realized, like, oh shit, I'm not going to be able to shake this guy.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's scary, and it's a reality.
And I've heard stories, dude. I've heard stories like from other bartenders and like security guards where shit doesn't go that way.
yeah.
Where you'll get a
Yeah.
call from LAPD the next day
Yeah.
saying like, oh, we found this person.
It's,
Their last transaction was at your bar.
I don't know if I have. I'm just not gonna bring up any names. But if somehow this is, if they hear this or anything, nothing bad happened. Nothing bad happened. But it was a real fear we had with this person when it was a similar situation. So we were at a wedding, and this person I knew had recently broken up with their boyfriend, but no.
What?
No, she thought it was
Yeah, explain it because no people listening don't know what
sorry.
the hell just happened.
The home. Yeah, Alicia. Me and Alicia talk about a lot. I dump on everything onto Alicia about
I'm his
my
diary and
Ew.
he's mine.
I tell her everything about my life and my love life and all that bullshit. But no, this is not what she's thinking or who she's thinking.
Okay.
I might even just cut this part out. But anyways, we fucking, so we're at this wedding and we knew, like, me and my friends knew that this person was in a very abusive relationship. Not physically that they ever revealed to us, but very psychologically and mentally abusive. Like, I had never met such a fucking asshole in my entire life. Like,
Yeah.
I had I held back sometimes when I interacted with this person. Like, who the fuck are you? And we found out that we were all at this wedding and it was already like time to go. And it was me, my sister, and then her girlfriend at the time, and then one of our coworkers. And, you know, homegirl was with us, and we're like, you need a ride home, we'll give you a ride home, or come stay with us over at the girl's house so that, you know, we know you're safe, because all of us had a lot to drink minus the guy who was driving us. And she was like, no, I'm getting picked up. And we're like, no, who's picking you up? And it was her ex. And we're like, dude, no. And at that moment, my sister's girlfriend at the time was fucking bawling her eyes out, crying, because she knew how much of a dick, how much of an abusive fucking asshole this guy was to her. Like, the stories of what he would say and, you know, put her through made her cry in front of her. Like, don't go. We will take care of you. You cannot go back with this person.
It's a violent cycle.
Dude. And but it sucks because you don't know how to. It sucks because some people can't get away from. They don't know how to get away.
And you
from
don't know how
that.
to help.
And you don't. And you can't. You cannot plug yourself into someone's life like that if they don't want you to, or they don't give you the okay.
Yeah.
No matter how much you know they're hurting. And it's just so fucking crazy. But no, we had to let her go because we're not gonna. Yeah. We're all grown. We're all adults. Wait, we can't force you to do anything.
You can't hold her fucking.
Can't hold her hand. No, but it was just, we all felt it. It put a damper on our night because we're just like, how could we let her do this?
Is she okay now?
She is. Oh, she's moved on. They've moved on. Homeboy's not in the picture anymore.
Thank
She's
God.
in a health. Well, I don't know how her relationship with whoever she is with now is.
She appears happy now.
She's appeared a lot happier than I've ever seen her.
That's amazing.
So I'm very happy for her, and I'm so glad that things are working out for her the way they are right now. Hopefully they continue that way. But that was my firsthand example of seeing. That was my first time. That was my first, just kind of like firsthand experience of seeing that kind of just seeing that abuse and being worried for someone like that, like right up front. Like, I've seen, you know, sketchy situations before, but I from afar. Yeah. This is the first time it happened, like in person, where I felt helpless because I was like, I can't do anything to make this person's situation a little better tonight. But, you know, I don't know how the night went out for them after that, and I'm hoping it didn't go bad. No one ever told me anything. She never told me.
There's shit that people are just gonna keep to themselves.
Of course, and it's also that it's none of my fucking business. You know what I mean? It's technically none of my business.
At some point, it does have to become someone's business,
right?
And if it doesn't, it becomes a bigger problem, and you're just a bystander.
Yeah,
complacent.
Yeah, you're complacent.
But you know what? What's the one thing I wish with this whole topic?
Yeah,
the one thing I do wish that we would stop. Not us, but we, like, the large majority of people, stop thinking about that this can't happen to men.
Oh yeah, dude.
I really fucking wish that, like, this whole idea that we're fucking, like, that we're the monsters that create this issue. No, I know so many men who are in situations of abuse and have been. And, like,
Me too, dude.
I know men who have been raped, and, like, they have told me the story, and, like, other people will laugh at them. Like, and it's fucked up.
It's like, what was that one Vine that the guy was like laugh crying? How he was like, this bitch, really? She just took my meat out. And just
okay. So there's this Vine where, like, the dude, they pick up this guy from, like, a hookup, right? And the girl, like, he's not trying to fuck, and the girl, like, basically like grabs his dick and like makes him fuck her. And they're all recording him. He's crying. And he's just like, I didn't want to fuck, but like she fucking pulled my dick out and like I guess we fucked and like.
But it the way he said it, you could tell that he was.
And who was recording? His friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
It's like who's complacent in this situation?
But it's just it sucked because if you look at his face, he was trying to not look weak in front of them about it, and he was trying to like laugh it off. But then he tried telling it in a funny way. But you could tell, like, yo, this fool was hurt. If it was true, because we don't even know if this.
It's just an example.
But like it's a fucked up case. Like, holy shit. Like,
it's true.
It can't happen. It can psychologically fuck someone up.
I just think it goes back to the idea that we're supposed to be like the man. We're supposed to be like the one. Like,
it's that machismo bullshit, dude.
Like,
society has placed you guys in this hierarchy where you guys are supposed to be like these stoic figures. And it's like, it's that, and these like strong figures and like no emotion, no this, like you can't cry.
Society was created by men.
Society was created by men.
In a sense.
And they've placed you guys at the top. And it's like considerably women are in the bottom and we are considered weak because we are emotional or we're this or we're that, which is not true.
No.
It's not true at all. But it's like, that's fucked up. I didn't even know that video existed.
Yeah. And it's like, at first, when you don't understand it, you'll laugh at it because it's like, oh, what that happens, and then when you really kind of sit down and think about it, like, fuck you. It kind of goes back to what Lou said last week, like,
oh, when he figured out what rape was.
No, but yeah, like, there's really nothing you can do. There's really nothing you can do, and then you kind of sit there and think, fuck. You really felt like there's nothing you could do. And you get it destroys you. It fucking destroys you. You realize how weak of a person you could become, and someone else can have this power over you. And it's a scary thought. It's so creepy. It's weird.
It's really creepy.
Yeah.
And it's like we see this like. I hate also how like men carry the stigma, men like carry this thing where it's like when teachers get involved with male students, it's like this fucking like badge of honor. Like it's like no, it's fucking not. Like it's like
there's like a whole episode of South Park about it where
oh my God.
Kyle goes into the police department. He's like, oh, this lady's raping my brother. And he's like, okay, like is she ugly? Like is she
which
big?
teacher was it?
Yeah. Was she and like Miss Johnson or something?
Miss Teacher.
They look at each other like nice.
That's disgusting. It's fucking disgusting.
But that's the thing. It's like
that was a satire.
You know how many like I think with like the suicide rate for men is fucking skyrocketing compared to like women, and it's because we can't come forward and talk about certain shit.
Yeah. As
like this or because we look weak.
Yeah.
It's like what cop is really gonna fucking believe you on a domestic violence call?
But honestly, like the tides are changing in those things because like even in cases with child custody and things like that, like men are given more leeway now than before. It's like those things obviously not to the degree that it should be, but it's like men are like I know women who have gone to jail for domestic violence that they didn't even commit. Like the guy hit them and they ended up going to jail.
It's super weird.
So it's like I totally get what you're saying though. Like we need to stop like pitting this like situation where men can't be emotional, where men can't have these feelings, where men can't express themselves in these ways or like feel some type of way about like fucking, for instance, sexual abuse, because then it creates this fucking cycle of like where men like spew out this misogyny or these other things because it
becomes a fucking ticking time bomb.
Yes.
Oh, dude.
There's only so many people could take. There's only so many people could take, and it's just It's just a matter of time until somebody fucking just becomes this horrible person.
Yeah, dude.
And like they hate women and they hate the idea of it because they were never able to fucking like announce what they were going through, and like now they're the devil. It's a bag, but that's the only thing I wish. I wish that it could be more normalized, like in the fact.
For men to talk about the problems like this,
and it should be and. I don't think it's just necessarily a woman thing either because a big perpetrator of abuse on men is also men.
It's fucking...
Like, it's a huge... Like, all the men that I've spoken to that have been sexually abused have been raped or sexually abused by a man.
Yeah.
So,
It goes back to ancient Greece, dude.
It's all
Greece.
fucked up.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, dude. Man, back then, man, boy love, fucking that shit was just fucked up, bro. That's not real love. But
this got real.
damn, dude, we got real dark.
But this has been Anything for the
For the
podcast.
podcast.
My name's Willie.
I am Chris.
I am Memo.
And I am Alicia.
Alicia, before you go, is there anything you have left to tell the viewers? Any last message you have?
Any plugs?
Any plugs? Where to find you? What you doing?
Don't find me.
So as I stated earlier, I am a student, but before that I was a high school dropout. I was a single mother and all of these other things. And it's like, I am here for everybody and anyone who needs help or a resource, or if anyone is considering going back to school. It's very near and dear to my heart. Like, I did it. Right now I'm trying to get into my pre-law so I can go into law. And if anyone ever needs any help, or anyone needs any advice in regards to sexual abuse, or like being a survivor, or being a mom, or anything of that sort, it's like, I'm here as a resource. So utilize me as your resource.
Yeah, dude.
I'm a fountain. I'll help you with school. I'll help you with therapy. I can help you get connected. So
I'm so fucking proud of this girl. Dude, from all the shit that she's been through, and then where she is now, like, I can only see her going way higher. And I really hope anyone that really feels like they can, kind of get out of their comfort zone and give her like chime in and talk to her, like, please do it. Like, it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
She is a fountain of knowledge. She will help you out a lot. And
I have like this motto where it's like, people say that like, when you go big, like, don't forget about your community.
Hell
like,
no.
But it's like, I'm always going to remember my community, but I'm also like making efforts to take my community forward with me, because I feel like there is no success if your community is not with you. If we're not all thriving, then what was the point?
Right.
Exactly.
So,
Oh, hopefully maybe next time we have you on, you'll be a little bit more further in school
Yeah.
and more knowledge on everything else. But thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
thank you, Alicia.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
See you
We'll
next
see you
week.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.